Welcome to Rowdy Rants. I'm Rowdy. Thank you for coming back again. More or less just doing a news roundup. Different things come to mind. Latest thing in the news I see is where AOC was seen in Miami, Florida with her boyfriend or fiance or whatever you want to call it, unmasked, eating in a restaurant, which really, that's just the human thing to do. Of course, everybody in New York's running around wearing 2 masks and God knows what else. COVID infection rate is huge. Mandates on masking, mandates on vaccines. And she goes to play in Ron DeSantis' backyard. And then has the nerve when somebody points out she's with her boyfriend and the fact that he's walking around wearing sandals, he's not at the pool. She decides that she's going to say Republicans are just jealous because she won't date them. I would pose that there needs to be a degree of common sense based intelligence before most educated men will want to have anything to do with dating somebody like AOC. I mean, really? I wouldn't for blood nor money. No way. Thank God I don't even have to think along those lines. I am married. President Biden continues to get out of Washington, D.C. and go home to Delaware, either to his beach house or his home on a regular basis. And I don't think anybody really misses him. They don't even shoot video in the Oval Office. They have a White House set away from the Capitol grounds where they do most of their stuff. That's probably so they don't see Biden wandering around in his bathrobe. Who knows? In the news, the U.S. Supreme Court is interacting at certain levels with the push on Roe v. Wade. The outcome is anyone's guess. My guess is pretty much the first things that happen anytime Roe v. Wade comes up around any of the D.C. Democrats is they start pulling this, that's a real nice Supreme Court you have there. We could always add 8 or 10 more candidates. 8 or 10 more judges. I know the Democrats like to threaten that kind of thing. That's called stacking the court, by the way. Build Back Better is dead, to no one's surprise at all. One little thing about it is this could be a ruse, because I think it's highly probable that the Democrats realized that with runaway inflation the way we have, if they do actually manage to pass Build Back Better, they know that inflation is going to continue no matter what, because they're not doing anything to curb inflation. And Build Back Better would just be blamed more and more if they did manage to pass it. So whether or not Manchin is a flippable factor or not, there's every possibility that they know how to get him to vote for Build Back Better, or he will vote for Build Back Better just at the appropriate time to give them a win before the elections. Don't ever underestimate the Democrats. I'll quote George Stephanopoulos. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And the Democrats live by that. One thing you can't ignore, even now after Christmas and with the new year, is that we are experiencing serious inflation. We are seeing a up to 48% increase in the price of gasoline. We're seeing a 6 to 9% average increase in food at the store, and a plus 240% increase in the prices of lumber, which, when you couple that with housing, what you're seeing is the possibility of somebody getting their first house going way, way down, and probably being stuck renting for a majority of their lives. So the American dream there is definitely a threat. And I won't fail to also mention that Joe Biden said that he would create green jobs for the 11,000 Keystone XL pipeliners. It never happened. Never was going to happen, in my opinion. The Democrats and select members of the GOP have managed to import up to 56,000 Afghans from Afghanistan after abandoning Afghanistan. And these are not being checked one by one when released into the country, as is proven by the number of arranged marriages where you have very young girls who have been married off to much, much, much older men, as in my age, which is sick. And with proper vetting, this would have been prevented. Of course, you don't see any reaction whatsoever from the Biden administration, do you? No, not at all. You'd almost think they were taking a book out of Jeffrey Epstein's business. In 2021 saw an increase at the border, with ultimately, because of the open border politics involved, 2.4 million total undocumented illegal immigrants crossed into the United States. Unvaccinated, not required to get vaccinated, not checked, not tested. Whereas U.S. citizens around the country suffering through potential lockdowns, and the unvaccinated citizens being blamed for the majority of COVID infections, while entirely omitting the fact that they were sending possibly sick COVID infected people around the country, in most instances as quietly as possible. That's right. What can you say? Every crime statistic is on the rise. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, drugs coming across the southern border. Drug abuse is on the rise in all major cities and metropolis. In some instances, you actually have police advising people not to visit the area because it is out of control. Hey, don't blame me. They're the ones saying it. That's where it's happening. We now have China fairly regularly directing the United States not to interfere in their affairs with Taiwan. And if I was Taiwan, I would seriously be concerned about that, seeing how we walked out of Afghanistan and basically left tons of American assets behind without a second glance. Taiwan, good luck. You're going to need it. The U.S. is no longer the ally they should be. That's it. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm going to leave it. My name's Rowdy. That's my rant. You have a nice day.